Abitare poeticamente, pensieri lenti e veloci.
Questa è la seconda stagione, Abitare poeticamente il design. Io sono Arianna Mazza.
Io sono Silvana Kutz. Buon ascolto.
This is our English-speaking episode. Are you ready?
Today with us, at Poetically Inhabiting Design, from Portugal, Professor Marco Neves.
For me, design is about the challenge. About the challenge of design, and we can understand that design is like a regular everyday challenge, but also about challenging ourselves as designers. So trying to come up with new ideas, new concepts, new visions for the world, for people, for situations that were not quite yet imagined in that way for any given purpose. So it's like trying to go beyond what already exists, or the way that we see things or understand them. I think that's the challenge. That's what design is or should be. Today, probably it's more urgent for us to discuss and to preserve the idea of beauty in design, because it feels like it's somehow slipping away. We are surrounded by metrics, objective notions of things, and somehow we forget that design is still, or can still be, fueled by a personal perspective that is built throughout so many years. So I think, and it's part of a subjective person. So designer's opinion and designer's vision of beauty should matter when we're doing design. Beauty, I think that it's a mixture of, that feeling when, in Portuguese we have like this saying that it was like a punch in the stomach, when you see something, or when you understand something that takes you away and you felt like, whoa, this is, I haven't thought of this before, or I haven't seen this before. So beauty is something that mesmerizes you, something that leaves you completely focused on that. And you look at it and you appreciate it, you like it, you admire it. And I think as a designer, seeing beauty, well, not just in everyday thing, but also in design situations, I understand beauty not just because of how distinct it might be, but how you look at it and you imagine how it was done. I don't think that ugliness is the opposite of beauty. I think ugliness is when a number of people have determined that something is not worth or as valued as what they consider to be other things. So let's say, in a simple way, I classify something as ugly because either of prejudices, or because I don't understand it completely, or because it just does not fit into the canon or to the shape that I was expecting. And so I think that ugliness is something that someone decided to put aside. And I don't see ugliness as something that we should not consider, or that we should throw it away. Or I see ugliness as something that will become, let's say, the underdog in a specific situation. There are a lot of things that can be classified as one or the other. For instance, we are talking about beauty, and I feel like Tchaikovsky is beautiful. So the music by Tchaikovsky is beautiful. And then on the opposite side, someone might say, well, if Tchaikovsky is beautiful, then, for instance, Metallica, it's ugly. But I don't think that. I think that I find beauty in the Swan Lake. I find beauty in Fade to Black. It's someone might categorize or classify something as an ugly thing. It doesn't really matter to me, because probably we haven't understood it yet, or we haven't looked at it in different angles. And I think it's just something that someone puts aside, but we should later on reconsider. We have a lot in, art history, for instance. We have a lot of ideas that come either from painting and from sculpture, in which you look and you say, oh, this was beautiful at the time. And nowadays maybe you feel like it's ugly, or the other way around. So I think it's just temporary classification. Probably it's harder for design ugly because it's less expected or less understood at the beginning. So if you fit the canon, or if you fit the expectancy, I think it's more relevant nowadays, because it feels like we are getting too critical, like the critical perspective, or the way that we evaluate or discuss design outcomes seems to be, I'm not sure less important, but it's starting to be less considered. I mean, we see it in students. They feel like having design theory or critiquing design, it's not something that we should do, or it should be so much important in. I disagree. I think today we should do it even more deeper with more understanding, because we are letting that go, and that is something that we need to understand completely, what can actually be new and original, because what's really new and original sometimes is not appreciated as design beauty, and something that should fill our mainstream.
I'm a shy deer in the headlights. She's coming over and I'm just standing there like.
I think to live poetically, design should be to still feed the creative subject that the designer is. So for the designer to maintain the idea that his vision of the present and of the future is something that should be cherished, nurtured, and be put into service of everyone else. Doing design poetically, I think it means that you should not conform to rules or to criteria that someone tries to impose on you, but that you should allow yourself and your ideas to find a way of coming out, of being, turned into outputs. And some of the areas in design where I teach, I feel like that's being a resistance, a matter of resistance, because there's a lot of talk about the users this and the users this and the stakeholders this and co-creation and co-design and participatory and this, and that is all fine. But do not replace yourself and your role as a designer that has a built-up vision of how things should be, of how things can be, or how can they improve. So I think making design poetically, I think it needs to deal a little bit of this. So designers, they should nurture their ideas, their notions of beauty and ugliness, and then still trying to put those ideas, those creative imaginations that they can build in their heads, and then face the world and the restrictions that the world will present them, and try to do something that, it's meaningful and distinct. I usually use 2 quotes to provoke my students and to provoke everyone else around me. And I think it has a little bit to do with this conception of doing design poetically. The first one is, the quote is given to Henry Ford, but I'm not sure, I've never confirmed it. and it goes like, if I'd ask people what they wanted, they would said faster horses. I use a quote to provoke a little bit on don't just depend on what other people say to you, or just don't depend on what people impose on you. Go and search for yourself, go and try to come up with things that nobody has yet come up with. And the other quote, I think it was given to Robert Kennedy. So he was a politician, so I'm not sure how this quote fits into his reality, but I think it actually applies to design nowadays. And it goes something like, some men see things as they are and ask why. I see things that never were and ask why not. And it's also like a motto for, obviously it's good to make questions about what you should do. A designer job, it's a little bit on that on the beginning, trying to find information about what they should be doing, but also look for the why not factor, or the what if factor. So if this would be my idea, or why should I do like this? So making a risky matter. So I think that complies a little bit with the challenge of design. So make it a little bit risky.
She said, hey you, isn't it funny how we always seem to meet at every place in town? Yeah, I must be lucky.
The feeling that one has when they see La Sagrada Familia. The first thing I looked at the Sagrada Familia and I went inside, and you feel like, wow, this is what an example. But also when you look at the Mies van der Rohe pavilion for Germany, which is something very strict, very geometric, but you look at it and you say, wow, this is also, and you have the opposite. So, I don't know, you have Gaudi with the organic architecture, and then you have Mies van der Rohe with that linear way, but you felt like there are worlds apart, but you can recognize the exceptionality of both of them. This is something that I would feel like, for me, design, or for me, any sort of expression should try to balance, which is whatever way that you express yourself, do it in the finest way that you can.
Emily Dickinson. A word is dead when it is said, some say. I say it just begins to live that day. Una parola è morta quando è pronunciata, dicono alcuni. Io dico che invece inizia a vivere proprio quel giorno. If I can stop one heart from breaking, I shall not live in vain. If I can ease one life the aching, or cool one pain, or help one fainting robin unto his nest again, I shall not live in vain. Se potrò impedire ad un cuore di spezzarsi, non avrò vissuto invano. Se potrò attenuare la sofferenza di una sola vita, o rendere più lieve una sola pena, o aiutare un debole pettirosso a ritornare nel suo nido, non avrò vissuto invano. There is no frigate like a book to take us lands away, nor any coursers like a page of prancing poetry. This travel made a poor stake without a press of toll. How frugal is the chariot that bears the human soul. Non c'è vascello che uguagli un libro per portarci in terre lontane, né destrieri che eguaglino una pagina di scalpitante poesia. È un viaggio che anche il più povero può fare, senza timore di pedaggio. Tanto frugale è la carrozza che trasporta l'animo dell'uomo.
I'm not from Lisbon, and I don't live in Lisbon, the city. And for the last few years, I feel a stranger in the city. I feel like every time I go downtown, I feel like I'm a tourist in the middle of so many other tourists. I think that the city has transformed itself in several ways. And the flow of people and the dynamics of the city, it's not the one that I identified with the city that I used to be in. So it's a completely different scenario. But the city still keeps to be this wonderful environment with geographic features that I think is very distinct. So the light in Lisbon, the sky in Lisbon, it's completely out of the ordinary. So it's something that sets the city apart. And when I was a student, a design student, I lived on the other side of the river, and every day I would make the journey by boat back and forth. And at the end of the day, it was like a privilege to be on the boat and to see the sky, because every day the sky was completely different. The light was completely different, but still, the best way to end the day and to say, okay, this is a restful moment, and now I'm moving on. So I think that the city is like nowadays, this great European metropolis that brings people from everywhere. And this is good. But it has changed a little bit on the living habits that you could have in so many different places. So I'm not sure, for instance, we would go to Baixa or to Bairro Alto, and we would go to eat at a local, what we call the Tasca. It's like local small restaurants owned by, this old couple that would do everything. And nowadays, some of those Tascas are gone and replaced by, well-known restaurants and so on. And then it's not the same environment. It's not the same sort of habits. It's not the same places. So today, I don't feel like it's the Lisbon that I've known for and experienced, but it has some other good features. Our design PhD and also the architecture and urbanism PhDs, they attract a lot of international students. And also some of our master's degrees also attract a lot of international students. And not saying Erasmus visits, I'm really saying international students, so students that really enroll into the programs because they want to do the full program. But I think that we should strive to be more, to have a larger presence and try to be to compete not to compete for students or for attention, but to compete in terms of recognition with so many other schools, at least in Europe. So I would say that would be the future, not just in teaching, but nowadays universities have become this mixed place of teaching, but also researching. And I think we can do a lot more and a lot better when it comes to research in our areas, and to prove ourselves and to demonstrate good quality research that interferes not just with our artistic and project-based fields, but also in the training of designers to come. So the future that I see for a university would be something like this. To be able to recognize this combined value of researching and teaching, and of being recognized for the work done on an international level.
Não digas nada. Não digas nada, não neima a verdade. Há tanta suavidade em nada se dizer e tudo se entender. Tudo metade de sentir e de ver. Não digas nada, deixa esquecer. Talvez que amanhã, em outra paisagem, digas que foi vá toda esta viagem até onde quis ser quem me agrada, mas ali fui feliz, não digas nada. Fernando Pessoa, 1934.
Every design idea, at its core, is, in my opinion, a political statement. We don't teach that, we don't challenge students with this. It feels like politics had nothing to do with it. The case is just that when you are having ideas and you are trying to interfere in the world, you need to accommodate all the concerns that will cause. So cultural, economical, social, human, political. I can be a designer and a teacher, but if I want to be exclusively dedicated to the university, I cannot be a designer. But I don't think that that's wrong, because I think that the university, public service, and politics, altogether, they need more artistic people. They need more people that can bring their own.
Hear the rush, feel the fire pulling you in, like a live wire humming under your skin.
From Blossoms by Lee Young Lee. From Blossoms comes this brown paper bag of peaches we bought from the boy at the bend of the road where we turned towards signs painted peaches. From laden boughs, from hens, from sweet fellowship in the bends, comes nectar at the roadside. Succulent peaches we devour, dusty skin and all, comes the familiar dust of summer, dust we eat. Oh, to take what we love inside, to carry within us an orchard, to eat not only the skin, but the shade, not only the sugar, but the days, to hold the fruit in our hands, adore it, then bite into the round jubilance of peach. There are days we live as if death were nowhere in the background. From joy to joy to joy, from wing to wing, from blossom to impossible blossom to sweet, impossible blossom.
Play it safe, we gotta chase that feeling. Soak it up, just breathe in. Let the sunshine carry us away.
A voice from our PhD program, Loredana Stasisin.
To me, beauty has something to do with care. It is a form of offering, a devotional act. It is about the effort invested, the quality and the complexity of thinking, considering the resources at hand. In this regard, it's something in the creation of beauty that is more about the others than about one's self. It is about sharing. More than aesthetics, beauty is about meaningful experiences. It is about being present in our own lives as part of something larger, aware of it, and caring for it. It is about humbleness, not modesty or humility, but humbleness. Just think about a silly drawing created by a child. It's not necessarily aesthetically refined, and yet something in it stirs joy. Why is that? And sometimes Beauty is just about being safe or feeling safe. Safe to share, safe to care, safe to love, and safe to just be. In more technical terms, beauty is about harmony in the dynamics of systems of coexistence. Perhaps one of the simplest answers comes from philosophy, where ugliness is regarded as the absence of beauty. It is neglect, not caring. It is disconnection. Why does it feel so unpleasant to walk through a crowded space where everyone's eyes are locked onto their phones? Isn't it the strangeness of disconnection within unexpected togetherness? Isn't it the absence of presence? Why does that feel ugly? Firstly, poetry is a very condensed form of articulation of thoughts. In a way, it is about the essence of things. But it is also about rhythms and flows, a form of musicality. It feels light and easy, effortless. Yet, this lightness comes as a result of complex thinking, refinement, and craft. In terms of design, poetry relates to a way of navigating the process as a strategy for the end result, which, to be good, to be beautiful, it has to feel like poetry. My research is about systemic beauty, design thinking, and using regenerative heritage as placemaking facilitator. I mean, can it get more poetic than that?
'Cause we've come too far to run away. We gotta chase that feeling. So get up, just breathe in. Let the sunshine carry us away.
Emily Dickinson.
I dwell in possibility, a fairer house than prose, more numerous of windows, superior for doors, of chambers as the cedars, impregnable of eye, and for an everlasting roof, the gambrels of the sky. Of visitors, the fairest, for occupation this, the spreading wide my narrow hands to gather paradise.
To make a prairie takes a clover and one bee, one clover and a bee, and reverie. The reverie alone will do, if bees are few. Per fare un prato bastano un trifoglio ed un'ape, un trifoglio ed un'ape e l'immaginazione. L'immaginazione da sola può bastare, se le api sono poche.
Turn off unnecessary lights and devices. Save energy.
Io sono Silvana Chiuz e con Arianna Mazza ringrazio chi ha abitato con noi questa puntata. Per le voci delle letture, oltre alla mia, quelle di Lucilla Grossi, Patrizia Ripa, Enzo Carannante. Abitare poeticamente il design è una produzione del Dottorato Nazionale in Design per il Made in Italy, Dipartimento di Architettura e Disegno Industriale dell'Università degli Studi della Campania Luigi Vanvitelli e Poesia in Azione. Montaggio Roberto Turturro.
You're the best thing that happened since the Big Bang. Ba, 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 ba.